Welcome back. Act 1 is done, and it seems pretty clear where all this is headed. Prince Hamlet must kill Claudius to avenge his father's death and assume his rightful place on the throne. Revenge plays are very common on the Elizabethan stage, and at this point, Shakespeare's story seems to be following the convention. It looks like Hamlet is making his plans for revenge even as we speak. At the start of Act 2, we find Polonius sending his servant on a mission to spy on his son Laertes. As soon as the servant leaves, Ophelia shows up, and she's pretty freaked out. For more on that, let's go to the theater. Sarah?
Ralph, Ophelia seems deeply shaken to me. She's told her father that Hamlet came to visit her, but that he seemed, well, batty. His clothes were all a mess, his knees were knocking, as if he'd been loosed out of hell, she says. Let's take a listen to what her father makes of all this.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand, thus, over his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head, thus waving up and down. He raised a sigh, so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he let me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of doors he went without their help, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property fordoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings as oft as any passion under heaven that does afflict our natures. I am sorry. What? Have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. Oh, I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I feared he did but trifle and meant to rack thee, but beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go we to the king. This must be known, which being kept close might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love. Come.
Poor girl. Obeying her father seems to have upset her boyfriend, and she's stuck in the middle. What's Ophelia really thinking about all this? Excuse me, Lord Polonius, I wonder if we might have a quick word with your daughter?
I really don't think that would be appropriate.
Dad,
My daughter
it's all right.
is just...
I'll just be a couple minutes. Maybe you could go tell the king by yourself. Then we'll go feed the ducks.
All right, but as I always say, keep your mouth shut and people will think you're a philosopher. Nothing travels faster than gossip. Speech
Dad, I'll
is
catch
given
up.
to...
So, Ophelia, that was quite a visit you had from Hamlet.
I know.
Coming into your private chambers, his shirt all undone. It must have been very exciting.
Exciting. Actually, it was more a little scary.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you frightened?
I just don't know what's going on with him. I mean, do you know what's going on?
Hard to say for sure, I suppose.
My dad says it's the crazed violence of passionate love, but what does he know, really?
Well, Hamlet obviously has very strong feelings for you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he writes me these really wild, intense poems. He just feels things really, really deeply, you know, but I don't know, this time it didn't really feel like it was about me. Really.
It never is.
No, I mean, he had this look in his eyes, and I definitely saw love, but there was something else there, too. It was really horrible, like he'd seen a ghost.
Oh, you poor thing. And instead of helping you sort things out, your father's off to tell the king.
Oh, no, he just wants what's best for me.
Let's hope so.
I don't know, guys are just so hard to read. I mean, tell me it gets better as you get older.
I wish I could. Ralph?
Thanks, Sarah. So, Hamlet, we just learned about a visit you... Hamlet? We just learned about a visit you made to Ophelia.
And?
And she's a bit freaked out. Now, you said you were going to start acting crazy. Is that what this was about? And if so, what could this possibly have to do with avenging your father's death? I mean, Claudius is going to hear about this. Though perhaps that's precisely what you're thinking. But it just seems cruel to do this to someone that you care about. Aren't you in love with Ophelia? Or perhaps you really are upset with her. I mean, she's been returning your letters, avoiding you. It would be nice to have someone to talk to right now. Okay.